Hi everybody, we're the guys from Penguin United, and this is part 2 of our video demonstration on the eagle-eye converter. In part 1, we talked about how to set up your eagle-eye converter with the enclosed program. And in part 2, we're going to demonstrate how this device works in a real-life gaming environment. Okay. First, here is a demo of the eagle-eye converter. The final version is going to look a whole lot better. The color is going to be different, and there's a few things that I want everybody to notice. On the side here, port number 1 for USB, this is where you put in your keyboard. Port number 2 is where you put in your mouse. Flip it to the side, and you have a bunch of switches. These are the turbo switches. In the final version, we will clearly label which buttons each of the switches are for. So when you flip it on, then that button becomes a turbo button. And on the bottom is the key mapping switch. As we mentioned in part 1 of the video demo, the eagle-eye converter can store up to 2 sets of key mapping schematics. And when you switch this switch to the left, you're selecting key mapping set number 1. If you're selecting this to the right, you're choosing key mapping set number 2. As you notice, there's a USB cable. This cable goes into your PlayStation 3. Alright, so let's get started. So here's what we do to get started. Take the eagle-eye converter, place the USB cable in the PS3 USB cable slot, and take the keyboard USB cable that goes into slot number 1. The mouse goes into slot number 2. Okay, so that's it. You see that the eagle-eye converter now lights up, means it's got power, and the system should now recognize this device. Okay, so it works. We're pressing the D button, it goes all the way to the right, A button goes all the way to the left. And when we first get started, I want everybody to go into the setting menu, go into the accessory setting, and reassign controller. Make sure the controller is assigned to number 1, unless you want to use your PlayStation 3 controller as your primary controller and the eagle-eye converter as your secondary one. So this is set to 1, so everything is good to go. Let's go into games. So we're in the game now. I fast forward a little bit so everyone doesn't have to wait. Let's go special ops, solo play, alpha, choose the third one, and regular, so I don't have to die that fast. Okay, while we're waiting, there's something I'd like to mention. The eagle-eye converter has a higher sensitivity requirement than your standard PlayStation 3 controller. So the first time you go into a game, you want to go into the game system menu, go into option, and adjust the sensitivity setting to a little bit higher than usual. And we'll show you how that's done a little bit later. Okay, so we're in the game now. Going to the options, sensitivity. Instead of choosing low, medium, or high, go into custom, go to about 6, a little bit higher than what we typically would choose. Okay, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to start with a few basic settings, basic moves. Strafing left and right, moving forward, moving diagonally by pressing the left and forward button, strafing. Okay, so focus, zoom in, reload, grenade, second grenade. Okay, I want everybody to notice how well the mouse moves. It's very sensitive. There's no jagged edges. Okay, you can easily make a 360 turn. And finally, the melee button is the middle mouse button. Okay, and crouch and jump. Reloading again, changing it to shotgun, and I turned down the turbo for the shooting button. So now this button is turbo. As you can see, we just did a double shot on the shotgun there. Let me find a victim to do that. There you go. Very nice. Okay, so this concludes our introduction on the Eagle Eye converter, and thank you everybody for your time, and we hope you will ultimately enjoy this device. You can make a reservation by going to www.penguinunited.com, and there will be no obligation. You don't need to give us your credit card information, just your name, your address, and email. So when this device does become available around end of July in 2010, we'll send you a notice, and you can decide if you want to purchase one at that time. All right, thank you everybody, and